This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for December 19, 2022, consumers urged to be vigilant shopping online during Christmas season. With more persons expected to be utilizing the convenience of online shopping during the Christmas season, consumers are being advised to safeguard their personal information when using online portals. The advice comes amidst an uptick in the incidence of scamming and identity theft. Information Technology Manager at the Consumer Affairs Commission, Christopher Martin, says shoppers must recognize that they are the first line of defense against cyber attacks, and they must take steps to protect themselves. Mr. Martin says it is important to ensure that the device and the browser are secure. Additionally, he is advising against saving passwords on browsers, as anybody who uses the browser afterward can access the information. Mr. Martin is advising online shoppers to use complex passwords instead of familiar names that persons with nefarious intentions can guess. Traffic changes coming to main towns in St. Anne. Motorists traversing the main towns of St. Anne are to see traffic changes effective today. The changes to the flow of traffic are being implemented by the St. Anne Municipal Corporation in conjunction with the police. The municipal corporation says that the changes are to facilitate smooth traffic flow in the major towns of the parish capital, St. Anne's Bay, the resort town of Oterius, and the Brownstone for the festive season. Several roads have been designated one-way streets, while some have been closed to vehicular traffic. According to the municipal corporation, police personnel will be out in their numbers, and the signs will be posted to assist the motorists and the pedestrians to navigate the changes during the festive season. In the meantime, special arrangements have been implemented to facilitate vendors in the towns. The changes to the traffic and the vending arrangements are to remain in effect until Monday, January 2. Man gets 11-year slap on the wrist for raping and sodomizing 8-year-old. A St. Catherine man who pleaded guilty to raping and sodomizing a now 8-year-old girl, his friend's grandchild, will only spend just over 11 years behind the bars for the heinous acts after being given 3 concurrent sentences on Friday. The sentences were handed down in the St. Catherine Circuit Court by Supreme Court Judge Justice Bertram Morrison. The 26-year-old convict, who was charged on a 5-count indictment for buggery, rape, sexual touching of a child, grievous sexual assault, and indecent language, was only sentenced for 3 of the counts, as the prosecutors offered no evidence on 2 counts. For the count of rape, the man who was hauled before the court in 2021 was sentenced to 11 years and 4 months at hard labor, 11 years and 4 months for grievous sexual assault, and 10 years for buggery. Under the sentencing guidelines for use by Supreme Court judges and the parish courts, the offenses of rape and grievous sexual assault on conviction in a circuit court attract a maximum sentence of life imprisonment and a minimum sentence of 15 years imprisonment. Justice Morrison, who handed down the sentences, reportedly made it clear that to his mind, the perpetrator was not deserving of the maximum sentence allowed for a guilty plea based on the fact that the aggravating factors, the age of the complainant, the use of violence, and the impact on the young girl far outweigh any mitigating factor. Justice Morrison further said to sentence the perpetrator to any lesser sentence would outrage the public. According to the facts of the case unveiled before the court, the complainant was taken to the police by her guardian, where she made a report of an incident which occurred in 2019. She reported that sometime in 2019, when she resided with her now deceased mother and grandfather, she was sent to a shop which required her to walk for 20 minutes through bushes during both legs of the journey. She said on her way back from the shop, the accused and another man from the same community held her up and took her further into the bushes. There, the accused forced her to have sexual intercourse with him, boogered her, and forced her to perform oral sex on him while the other man stood and watched. Both men then left the complainant, who walked home in tears. According to the young girl, when she got home, she immediately reported her ordeal to her grandfather, but he did nothing. She told the police that the men were friends of her grandfather. The complainant was later relocated and placed with a guardian, where she broke down and shared her ordeal. She was taken to the Child Protection and Family Services Agency and a report lodged. Upon arrest and caution, the accused told the investigating officer, "Me do it, miss. Me sorry. Me want tell you what happened." After giving his caution statement, the accused saw the complainant crying and broke down while apologizing to her in the presence of her guardian. Earlier this month, Latin American Public Opinion Project, a center of excellence for international survey research, said the overwhelming majority of Jamaicans surveyed believe criminals are being given too many slaps on the wrist as a punishment. Police seize guns in Rockfort, one man arrested. 39-year-old Omar Murray has been charged with illegal possession of firearm and ammunition following the seizure of 2 guns and several rounds of ammunition at his home on Warwico Road, Rockfort in Kingston on Sunday. The Elletson Road Police say about 4:30 a.m., a joint police-military team conducted a targeted raid at the premises. They say during the search, 1 Taurus pistol with a magazine containing 6 cartridges and 1 Sig Sauer pistol with a magazine containing 2 cartridges were seized. EOJ awaits budget approval for local government elections. The Electoral Office of Jamaica has signaled that if it is to be properly prepared for local government polls, which have been postponed until late February 2023, the election budget would have to be approved early in the new year. "We are not where we want to be, but we await the approval of the budget," said Director of Elections Glaspole Brown in a news interview on Sunday. If the Jamaica Labour Party-led government sticks to its February deadline, Brown emphasized that funding would be needed in time to conduct the polls. He said that the EOJ has started preliminary preparations in relation to low-budget items. Brown told the news that the EOJ has started to identify election day workers and the personnel who would train them. However, he said the training would not commence until the budget was approved. No allocation was set aside in the second supplementary estimates tabled in Parliament a week ago for the EOJ to conduct elections. The government had earmarked $30.4 billion to pay public servants under its new compensation system. A third supplementary estimate is expected to be tabled early next year. It is not known whether the EOJ's funding for local government polls will be allocated in that budget. However, the government has signaled that a significant amount of the resources will be allocated to pay the balance of public sector workers that had not yet signed on to the compensation system. In December 2021, Brown submitted a budget in the sum of $1 billion to the Ministry of Finance for approval, as the February 2022 deadline for the holding of the polls was 2 months away. Earlier this year, Parliament gave the nod to the Representation of the People Postponement of Elections to Municipal Corporations and the City Municipalities Act 2022. At that time, Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie said that the elections were being postponed owing to an outbreak of the highly transmissible Omicron variant. The Senate had also approved the legislation, resulting in another postponement of the local government polls. The local government polls, which are slated to be held over a 4-year cycle, were last conducted on November 28, 2016. ROPA provides for a 90-day extension. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.